It's a very, very interesting topic. As you know, our algorithms, they curate our feeds, they influence our decisions, and even anticipate our preferences. But honestly, sometimes I feel myself opposing the algorithm if I see something and I feel like it's pushed too heavily. So sometimes you could even kind of feel a little bit opposed to the algorithm. It influences you in one way or the other, whether it's positively or negatively. So it's worth asking, where does the digital version of us end, and where do we begin? To unpack this intersection of identity, technology, and society, let's welcome our incredible panelists to the stage. First and foremost, it's my pleasure to introduce our first panelist, Mr. Mohammed Nagia. He is the founder and co-founder of The Mayor and the Maestro. Please put your hands together in a massive round of applause. Up next, Cynthia Saber, founder and head of marketing at CC in Dubai and Sunset Properties. Joining them, we have Mr. Goresh Mathur, the MD and CEO of Zyfire SGB Global. Joining them, we have Mr. Vaibhav Toll, the founder of CISO and Science Limited. And last but not least, Mr. Andy Nicholson, the CXO of BLR World. Please put your hands together in a massive round of applause for all of our panelists. But last and certainly not least, joining them is Mr. Heleb. He is the co-founder of Rikama Technologies. Everyone, please welcome all of our panelists on stage. And then last, again, once more, I missed one person. Last but not least, Mr. Arindam Bhattacharya. He is the co-founder and CEO of Acutus AI Insights Private Limited. I hope everyone enjoys this incredibly interesting topic. And please think of questions in our mind. Now we're going to have 45 minutes, and the question time is going to be included in the 45 minutes. So please feel free to think of all of the different things you want to ask our panelists today.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here and share just a very, very important thoughts about algorithm. So here is Muhammad Nagia. I'm an entrepreneur and content creator. And before going for a very important discussion, our panelists will gonna introduce themselves. Please.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia, and I'm the founder of a personal branding agency and also a real estate agency called CC in Dubai and Sunset Properties. And I'm super happy to be here with you all.
Hello everyone, this side Gaurish. Actually, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zyfire SGB Global Private Limited, and we work in the IT sector, and we have developed multiple softwares and services. So we will be talking about it in the near future, and I will be passing it on to you.
Thank you, Gaurish. Hi, everyone. This is Vaibhav Tole. I am the CISO, cyber security expert and Chief Information Security Officer for Scient Limited. And yeah, it's an interesting discussion. I'll be actually looking at this particular topic from a cyber security lens purely. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Arindam Bhattacharya. I am the CEO and co-founder of Acutus AI. We actually work on consumer digital twins, so topic that's very close to my heart. So yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Nicholson. I'm the Chief Experience Officer of BLR World. I'm here to present from the angle of the living experience and where physical experiences and individual interactions cross over with our digital selves and where the algorithms play into that relationship. So looking forward to our discussions.
Yes. So let's start with Cynthia. You know, guys, our topic today, who am I without the algorithm? It seems like new word for most of us, but we will gonna go for the first question. Cynthia, do you believe algorithms define who we are or only who we appear to be online?
Very good question. No sound? Okay, we're good. Yes, it's a very good question. I believe that the algorithm doesn't define who we are, but again, it's about how we use it. So, for example, when I go on Instagram or TikTok and I'm going to research specifically some fitness videos or real estate videos, then the algorithm is going to get me this type of content in return. And so I think that it's only temporary researches, and then the algorithm creates a profile based on how much you consume. So for example, if how much you've spent time looking at a video, how much time you've spent clicking on certain parts of the video, and then the algorithm is going to give it back to you more and more and more, but that doesn't define you as a person. Still, at the end of the day, it's just like some temporary searches. It doesn't mean that I'm a fanatic of fitness or a fanatic of real estate. So I think it doesn't define. Now, where it can become a little bit blurred is if you let what the algorithm is sending you to define yourself. So you already need to be pretty much confident about your values and how you stand in the world to not let yourself be absorbed by the content that the algorithm gives you. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great answer. Mr. Grish, do algorithms reward authenticity or do they reward conformity?
Could you please repeat the question?
Do algorithms reward authenticity or do they reward conformity?
So I guess they don't do like they are not authentic enough, right? Because as CC said, they are just the temptation, the current temptation. They work on the current temptation. As you know, you do some research, you're doing something, you're scrolling down your Instagram or Facebook feeds, and you like something. You get in, the Instagram algorithm catches it, and then that's how your entire feed will change. So it change automatically. So it doesn't work on the actuality. It just works on the fictional parts. So I believe it's not. But moreover, if we focus on in-depth aspects of the algorithm also works on our current needs. Sometimes people like me, you know, I need to find something which is more convenient for me in my day-to-day life, and I want to look around, like, I want to know the feel and zest of it. So obviously, the best place for me is Instagram, Facebook, because people are using it nowadays, right? So
As well, TikTok today is taking a lot of places. Like 2 years back, TikTok was not that important. It was
yes,
only for singing like this. But now that like everything changed. I believe TikTok right now is very very important educational channel.
absolutely. But in India, it is not there.
Not the same, yeah. Okay,
In India, TikTok is banned actually.
banned.
Yes.
Okay.
So in India, we only use Instagram and Facebook, though Snapchat is there. But yes, when we talk about the algorithm aspect, in the algorithm aspect, the algorithm makes it more approachable for the person who wants the product, because there is real time reviews. There are multiple factors which authenticate us as well. So it is yes and no from my side, both levels. So yes, we can focus on both the aspects. Yes.
Mr. Arendam, please, how much control, okay, how much control do we really have over our data-driven digital identity?
Uh, I think right now it's actually very little, uh, because I think to certain extent we as consumers, I think we're not educated enough to kind of uh, teach ourselves, or yeah, we're not teaching enough ourselves to the point where we can have control on how the algorithms are defining us. I think we're kind of going with the flow. Like I said, if I want to search something, or if I want to buy something, I'll just go ahead and search, and the algorithm will basically just go ahead and then start to predict that, okay, so this is what this user is as such, right? Instead of understanding my personality, right? I mean, I want to buy a gift for my wife on for our anniversary, right? And it could be something that's specific to ladies, right? And then what happens is I buy it, and then Amazon would just continue to throw up things that are similar to that without understanding why I bought that initial thing, right? So I think right now it's very little, but The fact is that the way things are going, I think at some point it'll become very important for us to understand how algorithms work, and kind of then do our searches accordingly. So I think at some point we have to get ourselves educated.
Mr. Vabihav, I'm sorry for missing this, but because of someone is missing on the panel. So our question is related to AI. Will AI become a co-author of identity?
Absolutely, a great question. Uh, just before I touch on the answer to this particular question, the very key thing, that who am I without the algorithm? I think the answer is I'm a human, right? And as you rightly asked, whether AI is going to be a author of the digital twin, or the perceived identity, uh, the answer is very complex, and sometimes it is fearful as well. It all depends upon how much, how is it controlled, how the landscape is controlled. See, when we talk about identity in its own, the way we actually dissect it using cybersecurity principles, any identity has at least three attributes related to it. One is, the identity will have some access, it will have some role, and it will have some privileges. At that privilege, it can actually have some assets or liabilities, right? So every identity actually is, at the end of the day, it has some assets, and it is going to operate on those assets. Now, just let's take it to the next level, where AI or any algorithm actually is creating a twin of that particular identity, right? It is creating it for a purpose, maybe for selling. There is an optimization function at the end of the day, and there is a reason why the digital twins are being created. So if that particular reason becomes very important, and as we actually are going into a capital intensive market, I believe, yes, the answer would be yes, that AI can become an author, but unless right guardrails are placed, it can become fearful. So yeah.
Thank you so much for this answer. Mr. Andy, please, this is a very also important question, and I believe everyone should know more about this. Are we shaping the algorithm, or the algorithm shaping us?
Well, look, I think that's the crux of the question: is the algorithm shaping our behavior, or
complicated.
are our behaviors shaping the algorithm? And I think one of the first things to think about, and you just mentioned it's a complex answer, is actually who's owning the algorithm. And I think you always need to be mindful of that, because ultimately the algorithm is looking to manipulate our behaviors. It's why it is such a successful marketing tool. And I think regardless of the industry that we're in, we need those algorithms to be working our customers. It's when we become the customers that we need to be really, really conscious of what the algorithm is doing for us. Or I think what the algorithm is not doing for us is the really important part. I mentioned lived experiences when we start it, and if you think of a gallery, one that's been in the news for all the wrong reasons is the Louvre in Paris. The algorithm, if you were looking at the heat spots of where people go in the Louvre, is they would go to see the Mona Lisa. Now, does that mean that they wouldn't actually be pushed into any of the other amazing wings in the Louvre? And that is an example, I think, of where the risk of the algorithm manipulating you rather than you manipulating the algorithm can come in, because you miss the opportunity to discover what you don't know. You'll get a lot of what you do know, but as yet, unless there's people out there that can create something different, there's a risk that we're going to be overlooked.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andy. So we're gonna back to Mr. Arindo. The question is, algorithms often claim to be objective. How dangerous is that belief when it comes to identity?
Yeah. I think it's extremely dangerous. The fact is,
Extremely, yes?
it is extremely
Extremely.
dangerous. Algorithms don't predict the truth, right? And just to add to the previous question, actually, we feed crumbs to the algorithm. The algorithm actually creates pathways.
Yeah.
The fact is, as consumers, we have to be very aware. Uh, when I say at Acutus we're creating digital twins of consumers, it is very important for us to kind of once we get the data, or let's say it's consumer buying behavior, or let's say how they consume OTT, right? Once we get the data, it's very important for us to kind of remove all the noise around it and figure out what actually is the true data that can relate to the consumer actually. So yeah, I mean it's very dangerous, extremely dangerous. Algorithms don't predict the truth; they predict probability, right? And we and basically calling probability objectivity is how biased algorithms can get. So yeah, I think it's extremely dangerous.
Thank you so much. I believe, yes, absolutely dangerous. Mr. Vavihab, please, what should individuals and organization do today to build healthier digital identities?
Okay, could you please repeat the question, the last part?
What should individuals and organization do today to build healthier digital identities?
Okay, so you're asking about how are they creating their
Yes,
identities?
true.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, again, an interesting question. As rightly pointed by my colleague Arindam, uh, algorithms are just predicting, right? And it also is a function of the bias that actually that algorithm has. It's finally about deriving models, and models are not the truth of the the fact, but they predict based on the modeling that has gone into the machine. Now the thing is, as rightly pointed by Andy as well, that who owns the algorithm is very important. It's deadly important, because if you look at all the identity landscape of this whole problem statement, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are at least four identities at play. One is the true identity which is getting mimicked, the real human being. Another one is the identity that gets created, which is the perceived identity or digital twin identity. We will call it as identity if actually it surpasses all those checks. If it has access, if it has privileges, etc., it can perform a duty, right? And then there is a third identity which is very interesting, the identity context under which this algorithm runs. So ownership and the context under which this algorithm runs on the process. Finally, it's a process, right? It's a machine. Now, from a hacker's perspective, I'll just take a adversarial perspective and then try to answer your question, so that we can then defend the adversarial aspects. So basically, the first thing that an attacker would want to do is, and we never know if someone who owns the algorithm is also an attacker. So I'm not taking that case here. I'm taking that it's a well-governed machine which is an algorithm here, and with that thought, basically the identity under which the algorithm runs is the most vulnerable one. The first discipline is to first protect that, and there are at least two things here. One is zero trust architecture, especially on zero trust identity, network, endpoints, etc. The whole zero trust pillar has to be, leveraged. And second important thing as a control, I would say, is SSI, which is self-sovereign identity. That means the first identity which is actually getting perceived into second, which is actually, for example, Instagram is looking at me and trying to create my identity. I should be under control. I should be able to challenge. I should be able to contest it. I should be able to correct the information if I feel it is wrong, not by behavior, but by will. So, these controls have to be built in into this whole paradigm of algorithm creating digital twin. Otherwise, it will be always auto-biased, autopilot, and we know what happens when everything goes on autopilot.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gresh, please. In 10 years, what do you think digital identity will look like? More empowering or more restrictive?
So I will answer that, but prior to that, I want to add up pointers for all these things.
Please.
So when we talk about algorithm with the AI, because I know this reason, we are developing it.
Yeah.
So you know, the algorithms will change rapidly. Reason, because AI is something which is developed by not one human being. It is being fed more than 1 lakh to 2 lakh human beings data. So it carry a personality of 2 to 3 lakh of human beings in just one AI. And that AI works with the algorithm. So you can think, like let's say Mohammed, we take you, you go to the Instagram or you do some research.
I wish it's a good example.
I hope so. So we look into your mobile. You are looking for some product. Let's say you're looking for furnitures, and you know that you want to buy something which is a chair, but the algorithm will not know. Reason, because it has been fed by more than a lot of ideas of furnitures like tables and everything. So the algorithm cannot be precise with the AI. But yes, in the coming years, it will become. So that is something which I wanted to add up in the AI part. So AI will change algorithm, and algorithms, yes, they are unsafe. They are highly unsafe. And before the panel discussion, we had a discussion. We four had a discussion about it. I hope you remember, guys. So algorithm is unsafe. Reason is, your entire self is being exposed to the people, because obviously algorithm has been captured by people only. So it has been exposed. So it is unsafe from my side. And then coming down to the question, in the coming 10 years, I believe algorithms will change drastically, and they will be changing the era. They will be changing the way we think. Because right now, algorithms are not penetrating our lookalike feel, but later on they will. Because nowadays, I believe algorithms are changing things for me. Like as a person, as a human being, I want to buy something, but again, as I have been seeing something because of the algorithm, I'm buying that. So it is penetrating, and it will penetrate more, and I believe it will not only penetrate, it will rule you over.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, please.
Want to add to this part is that if as a consumer, if you are conscious, I think algorithm can actually be your companion. If you are unaware, it'll basically be a world that you live inside if you are unaware. Like Goresh, you mentioned, right now what's happening is, because it's still a very new concept. It's like, I go to Amazon to buy a shirt, but suddenly a shoe ad pops up and I really like it, and instead of buying a shirt, I end up spending on a shoe that probably I didn't need it at this point of time, right? And it could be the other way around as well. So I think what is important is, as we start to become more conscious, I think algorithms can be beautiful companions to make our life easier. But if we are not, then we actually kind of become a consumer that lives inside that world that algorithms created for me.
Thank you so much. Please, Mr. Andy.
I'm just going to add into that because I think the other thing, and Goresh, I think you're right that this is going to become more subtle and more refined. But at the moment, if you think of someone maybe at a business school researching various papers, they are going to absolutely confuse the algorithm beyond any kind of recognizable state, because at one point they're going to be researching lighting providers in the east coast of America, and the next thing they're going to be looking at baseball fan activations, and in high depth. So that volume is going to skew those algorithms. So again, I think it's coming down to who is owning that algorithm and for what purpose. And the more refined that can become, I think everyone will benefit from it. But without a doubt, there is a risk at the moment that your own identity is going to be slightly distorted by perhaps something that you're doing as a hobby, as a work, as a project.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andy. We will go back to Cynthia. Cynthia, as an entrepreneur and content creator, will AI become a co-author of identity?
I think that as a content creator, it has already started for most of us because we use AI as an extension of our voices. So, well, there's two kinds. Either you have content creators that 100% rely on the AI, and then you kind of see it reflect in the quality of the content and how personalized it is. So you will kind of notice a robotic wording in the captions or in the scripts. You will see that it will lack originality and personality to it. And then you have the other creators that uses AI to actually propel their voice even further. So again, like an extension of their voice and how they can use their story, use their values, and to make it land even better in the eyes and the heart of the people.
Thank you so much. Mr. Grage, please, if algorithm disappear tomorrow, would people behave differently online or we already shaped beyond reversal?
Beyond reversal.
Sure. Explain for us this, please.
So, you know, if I snatch your phone from your pocket and then I don't give you your phone back, what will you do?
I feel the same.
So that's the thing. We all are now exposed to this. As we are exposed, we cannot go back to our old days. Even, let's say, in the previous time, there was a very refined time where we were not having the electricity, we were not having the mode of commutes. And if we go back to those days again, they are really good for holidays, but not for living.
Sure, 100%. Yes,
Right.
true.
So that's the thing. It's irreversible. If in case we reverse it now, there is no coming back. And I believe we guys cannot survive. We guys will fail to survive in that aspect because things have changed us.
Thank you so much. Mr. Vabihav, what is one thing that you believe every person should know about how algorithm represent them?
Awesome. Uh, let's take a simple case. Okay. Can I, as an attacker, maybe I'll just step into the shoes of adversary. I come from cybersecurity, so everything, every thought actually runs from that arena. Can I look at your Instagram profile and not just guess, but just be very sure about what your password is? Uh, so if that really happens, that should not happen, right? And I think I'll just resonate with what Cynthia mentioned a while back, that a user has to be very, very cautious about how algorithms are used at their disposal. Again, with I resonate with everyone here that the purpose is very important. While and just an answer to your previous question, I believe if there is no algorithm, we can be, again, who am I without an algorithm? I'm a human, right? I In ideal world, I should be human. And again, it should not be reverse. Algorithm should not, again, ideal world, should not you know uh, it should not control me. How should I use? It can influence me. It does influence me, and definitely that should be the limit. Again, it all boils down to the purpose. What is the purpose of that algorithm? Why is it built? Who has built that algorithm? If it is just Instagram, Facebook, it is for social networking, great, fine, no problem. It gives me connections, it gives me some kind of cool advertisements, etc. I can buy something cool. But just think about it. If what if an adversary, an attacker, real attacker, profiles you, creates your digital twin, uses that digital twin in your name for doing miscreant stuff? That is what we should all, as users of these algorithms, should not succumb to.
Thank you so much for this answer. Mr. Verendam, do you think young generations can separate their self-worth from their digital performance?
Separate there.
Digital performance, separate their self-worth.
Uh, well, ideally they should, and that's what we've been discussing, that algorithms are meant for our convenience. We shouldn't live inside algorithms, but also the fact is, and just going back to a couple of questions back, where is it becoming habit? Can we live without it? It's a real life example that I want to give. I landed here on Sunday, and I was supposed to meet a friend who's staying in Jebel Ali. I didn't get an international data pack because I was like, I'm here for a couple of days. Most of the places that where I will be, I'll probably have Wi-Fi, so I don't need an international data pack. It took me about 35 minutes. I booked a cab from my Airbnb Wi-Fi. I booked a cab, went downstairs. I didn't have any internet. 35 minutes from here to Jebel Ali. I panicked. I was like, I can't see Google Map. I'm not sure where I am. As soon as I reached my friend's house, I was like, give me your Wi-Fi and let me just recharge my data pack. I don't care whether I'm here for. I think that's where we're going with algorithm as well. So yeah, I mean, I think whether it's the new generation, or in fact, I mean, whoever is basically using internet, I think it's very important to kind of uh, who you are, because see, end of day, algorithm is only predicting, it's not your true self, right? So you can only leverage it, and you should only leverage it as your companion, and not live inside that world. So yeah, I think it's very important to do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, because that question was around young people and self-worth. You know, as a parent of three girls, I can tell you that they were highly influenced by their life on social media. I think as they've grown a bit older, they've begun to form their own identities. But there was certainly a difficult period that, as parents, we were concerned as to what they were doing. Now, what's the answer to that? You know, the extreme answer is happening in Australia right now, where actually children are being banned from using social media below a certain age. Now, it seems to me that that shouldn't be necessary. That actually there should be sufficient controls over how an algorithm is working, that we should all be confident that that's not the case. But it is the case at the moment. So when we're talking, you know, about security risks and dangers and societal risks, without overplaying them, I think those do exist at the moment, and we're looking forward to the development where actually those risks can be better controlled, so that everyone can have a full presence regardless of their age.
Actually, I have a question for all our panelists. What are the biggest potential security and autonomy risks of algorithm identities?
I think this is exactly.
Yeah, this is came from him, by the way. This is his question.
Yeah. So I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
So yes, again, you know, it's all cyber landscape, right? At the end of the day, algorithms are so. In previous times, you know, people used to read books and they used to get influenced by books. They used to speak the same language. Later on, they started looking or scrolling through Instagram reels, and they start talking about the same language, right? It's something that you get influenced, garbage in, garbage out, good in, good out, whatever. Now, when we talk about cybersecurity, typically there are three pillars of cybersecurity: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Again, we'll go back to the purpose. Governance is very important. Why do we have an algorithm? Who owns it? What is the purpose? This is going to actually drive the risks, right? If algorithm is there to help you, it is well governed, it is well compliant, it is made with good ethics. So basically, then what remains is the identity under which that algorithm works. To meet its purpose has to be secured. So zero trust principles do help us. So what is zero trust? It is like, you know, zero trust means trust, but you know, it's like do not implicitly trust. It is always trust but verify. So zero trust principles have to be there, and then plethora of cybersecurity controls are must at the processing level or wherever that algorithm works, it has to be completely protected, because that is the weakest link. If it has vulnerabilities, one has to patch it in terms of making it secure to the best possible reasonable ways, so that it works as expected. That is one layer of security. Another layer of security is again very, very interesting. What data really goes into that particular digital twin? I mean, how is that identity made? So the second security level is, I believe, whoever is the victim here, I'm saying the victim because that particular digital twin can be also formulated by an attacker. So in that particular worst case scenario, SSI won't apply. SSI means sovereign, I have full control on my digital twin. But in all other circumstances, I believe there has to be a SSI enforced where I can go and change or reset my profile to my needs. And yeah, it is again, I'll again say the same thing from cybersecurity perspective. If somebody can just see your digital profile and with surety, maybe 99% surety, determine your passwords or your sensitive information, that is not correct. I mean, then that is actually kind of leaking information. It is barging into the territory of lack of privacy. So yeah, I think these controls would really help.
We will go to Mr. Arendam for his question as well. What does digital self-awareness look like? Can humans be trained to understand how they are represented in data?
Right. So yeah, I'll actually answer this in two parts. Uh, I think digital self-awareness is I think the moment you realize that your online identity isn't who you are, it's just a statistical shadow of who you are. I think that realization is very important. I mean, see, why are algorithms there today? It's for my convenience. Now, it's a trade-off between convenience and autonomy, right? How much do I want to trade off as a user, right? The more I trade off, more I get into the convenience mode, I'm trading off autonomy. So I think that realization is very important. uh, Obviously, I mean, I think train humans obviously can be trained, and uh, there is no course to it, but as you go deeper into, like, the more profiles you create, the more data points that you answer. See, when you're creating a profile on any online portal, right, it's what are the data points that you're giving out, right? So if you know that, okay, these are the only data points that I'll be giving out, anything more than that, I'll probably just have to first investigate whether it's needed on the platform or not, right? I think few years back, if you would go to shopping malls and all, they come with pen and paper, fill up this form, and you'll end up winning a prize or lucky draw, whatever. uh, at least I've never won a lucky draw prize, but what I've gotten is more telemarketing calls, right? Because I just gave away my phone number without thinking, and I keep on getting telemarketing calls, and I think that's the same thing with what we're doing online as well. So how much data I'm giving out to that platform, to the algorithm, is very important to know. And as soon as the more I get trained on that, I think then it is, once you've learned that, it's basically trade-off between convenience and autonomy.
Thank you. Mr. Andy, if your influence wasn't measured by numbers, how would you prove your impact?
If it wasn't
Yeah,
in
measured by
numbers.
numbers, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, because it moves into the world of kind of non-tangible
Yeah,
impact.
yeah.
And look, that's for me very, very important, because I think what people take away from panels such as this, from stepping outside and looking at the the amazing view over the creek, all of those things are very, very difficult to quantify. And in a world where we look for the quantification, it's a great question. Look, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, and
Out of the box, yes?
look, you guys are content creators. How would you measure those if it wasn't in numbers? How would you measure your own level of success or impact?
To be honest, it's hard to find an answer for this question because numbers is everything right now. Even in the creating content, you are measuring your success by numbers, number of followers, number of views. So it's hard. In the end, it will gonna be something related to yourself that you are proud of something. So thank you for getting for me back this question.
I'd like to add something for particularly to this context. And again, I don't have an answer for this. I'm not even on social media. My
But
only
don't
social
back to me with the
no, no,
same.
no, no. But my only social media is actually LinkedIn because I need it for my work. I'm not on Instagram or any other social media. I think if I just want to relate it to something, I come from India, so Bollywood, right? Bollywood's big. The last of the biggest superstars that Bollywood's produced, Amitabh Bachchan and let's say Shah Rukh Khan, when they became superstars, it was I mean, nobody knew what followers were and things like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, post Shah Rukh Khan, I mean, you have stars today. You have big stars. Names and they have followers. But if you look at the biggest of superstars, they don't make any more post Shah Rukh Khan, I would say. So and they came from an era where there was no social media and no followers and things like that, right? So I don't know. I mean, I think again it's coming back to the fact that the algorithm is actually becoming our habit. So that's why we need those followers and counts to say that yeah, I am a successful content creator. And if I don't have the followers, probably not. But I don't know if it's that simple, that black and white. I'm sure there is a gray line in between.
Mr. Goresh, I feel that you want to add something related to this question.
Actually, I have a question for everyone over here.
Okay, sure, we are ready.
I just want to know, like, how many of you know more than 3 or 4 contact numbers of your people? You guys know?
No, in your mind?
Yeah, in your mind. Yeah, not on your phone, in your mind.
Leave 2 maximum for me.
So see, you can see, right? Like more than 95% people, they don't know. Reason is because we algorithm, we pocket data saving, we CRM tools, we made them lazy. Your mind is becoming lazy. That's it. That's the moral of the story. Sooner or later, that is how algorithm will penetrate us. Right now, we don't use any pocket data like pocket diaries or something to save the number. We use directly phone. Okay, we note it down. But now it is becoming more easier. Just tap the phone and that's it. That's how you swipe the numbers.
Yes, true.
Right? So that's gonna that's the new era, and that's where we all are living. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Yes, and to respond to what you're saying right now, as a content creator and as the founder of a personal branding agency, I think now with the AI and the algorithm, I think the person who will succeed the most is the one that stands out and doesn't define themselves entirely by AI and by the algorithm. So that's why I think more than ever, if someone really wants to differentiate themselves, then they always need to work hand in hand with the AI and how, especially the relationship that they have with their social media, because again, it becomes a mirror of what you consume becomes a mirror. So you need to be responsible in your use of how you're using your socials if you want to differentiate yourself and take, okay, what's best for me? What's best for my brand? And regarding what we were saying earlier, the sound is cutting. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's cutting. It made me think of, thank you. Thank you. Hello. Okay. So it made me think of a concept because I'm from the empowerment background and the mental health, and it's the use of social media and the algorithm. It can quite become, I compare it to body dysmorphia. So when they first came out with the filters online, like I'm sure you've seen Snapchat when they first began with the filters, they would smooth out your features. A lot of people were using it, and then they started seeing themselves only with the filters. And it created a very toxic relationship with the social media itself. So I think now more than ever, you need to have a strong confidence in who you are and to be able to differentiate, okay, this is becoming a toxic use for me, and I need to back off from it, and I need to use it differently. And actually, I think I would like to hear like from you guys, how do you feel about the algorithm? I'll let Muhammad maybe continue on that.
Yes, sure. Before going for our guests, we have still 3 minutes. I have my last question is identity versus algorithmic identity. Just to make the long short, please.
I have no idea what it is.
Uh, so again, uh, identity is real human identity that possesses assets that can actually act on those assets, has liabilities. Algorithmic identity is just a digital twin made for convenience, as rightly said by my colleagues. So basically, yes, there is a difference between identity, and these identities, the privileges of both identities must be different by design. So somebody in the previous panel actually, talked about a very important concept of, in one liner, we call it as security by design. So security by design has to be embedded into the concepts of algorithms. Just one important thing, algorithms are not being just used by social media or these circles only. They're actually being used by various corporates for various reasons, maybe recommender systems, internal, external, and even for crucial systems like healthcare, etc. These are being used, and therefore they must be used carefully. The both identities should be separate. Thanks.
Anyone want to add?
Yeah, I think identity is layered. It's human, whereas your algorithmic identity is actually engineered for. Uh, it's basically engineered for engagement, not for truth. So I think that's the line of difference that needs to be maintained. End of the day, your identity is your identity, right? That's been built over years and years and characters and everything. So yeah, so algorithmic identity is just built for engagement. That's it. So it's important to keep that in mind.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Everyone, we have time for one final question, something short and sweet. And as well, if we could answer briefly, does anyone want to ask our panelists anything? Please, madam. Approach the mic, please. Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if it's a direct question or maybe some input, but I'd like to also hear your point of view on what I think, because that was your question, what we think about algorithm as end users in that sense. So I took few notes, if you don't mind. So I was triggered by the title because I wanted to know what you guys think we are without the digital self, because, or what we are without the algorithm. Because to me, I think we'll start exploring ourselves without algorithm. And my input is in the context of the social media, because actually this is where today's generation live. I'm quite skeptical about it, honestly. I'm not millennials. I'm actually the generation before. So but I enjoyed my time in the street, meeting real people, engaging with them before social media mold us or box us in a one size fits all kind of the thing, unfortunately. So a few things that I'm a bit skeptical, but I want you to tell me where I'm mistaken in that. Now, the first thing is,
If you don't mind summarizing your question a
of
bit more
course,
briefly,
of
as we
course.
have, as I mentioned, we only have time for one question.
Yeah, so
Thank
I
you so
have 1
much.
minute.
Nope.
I don't have 1 minute.
If you could summarize your question just a little bit. You don't have 1 minute. It's just a
Okay,
question.
fair,
Yes.
fair. So in the word, I mean, algorithm in reality shapes our personality because it tells us what we consume. And I resonate a lot with the Louvre example that you gave, because in times where you can be exposed to everything in the world, they are telling you what to consume. So in reality, I'm also exposed to a content that other people liked, because this is what social media will push for me. So mentally, psychologically, we're being molded. So to me, that's a lot of risk when you speak to teenagers. How do you think we, and I'm a marketeer, let's look at it from end user perspective. How do we deal with this? How do I speak to a teenager and tell them, be aware of algorithm, be aware of how you define your values and beliefs?
I think very quickly, I think that's where the layer of education has to come in some level of governance has to come in. Right now, what you exactly said is what's happening. The algorithm is defining me. So when I go to a museum, it's just telling me, just watch Mona Lisa because the world watches Mona Lisa. You're missing everything else that's there in the museum, right? So I think that's where education is very important, that algorithm shouldn't be defining you. You should define the algorithm, the other way around. So very briefly, but happy to talk more on that actually offline as well.
Yes. I know we need to summarize, just to finish. Regarding like teams, right? That's your concern. So I think, again, it's about spreading, or not necessarily. Was it for teams? Yes. So I think, again, it's about like spreading the awareness on social media, like about social media, and to just show the reality. And that's why more and more online you can see creators being very raw with their content. So they're not only going to share the positive side of their life, they're going to actually share like the human side, that, you know, we all have fear, we all have challenges. And I think to push towards accounts that are more like this, representing the reality of a human being and not like all filtered, can help others feel more, well, less alone and less, challenged by filtered content, for example. So yeah, thank you for your question. Yes.
Would anyone else like to add anything? Thank you so much. Everyone, please put your hands together in a massive round of applause for all of our panelists. Thank you so much for delivering such insightful perspectives to everyone attending here today. And if we could all join in the front together so we could just take a picture.